What up, everyone? So, got a special video here today. Just on a side note, the monthly review is coming. The only reason I haven't done a video on it yet is because I'm still waiting on a box. The boxes were incredibly late. We are almost in the month of May, and I'm still waiting on boxes from March. So one's coming soon, so we should have a monthly review probably by the end of the week sometime like that. But I wanted to get this video out because it is time sensitive. And I'm also running a contest for this video, so you have the chance to win some lovely prizes, so that should make it pretty interesting. So basically what this is a new segment, and what I'm calling it is a pre-review. As you guys know, that I do reviews on movies, or I have started to do that again lately, and there's one big one coming out, Avengers Infinity War, and I'm definitely going to be doing a review on that, as there are going to be reviews on many other Marvel and DC movies coming out this year. Excuse me. So, that's what we do. That's what I do. I review movies. But, you know, some things like Avengers are just so big that it requires more than just a review. So what this video is going to be is kind of a discussion topic, some speculation, and yeah, just kind of things like that. So I couldn't really call it a speculation video, and I couldn't really call it just a discussion. It's kind of all-encompassing, and I'm making a contest out of that. So essentially, this is just such a big event, Avengers, that even if you're not a big fan of Marvel, even if you're not a big fan of the MCU, this is just a big thing in cinematic history. Nothing like this has ever been done before, where this many different franchises and stories have all come to place into one movie. There have been plenty of other movies that have had sequels, that have had crossovers, things like that, but nothing to this scale. And I think the number is like, they have like 76 named characters in Avengers, so even if you're not a fan of the series, it's still a big deal. And it's projected to break pretty much every box office record in existence, and I'm pretty sure it will do those things. So some of the things I wanted to talk about are some speculation things. And I know there's a ton of speculation videos out there, and I've wanted to do one for a while, but I didn't want to do one early on. I wanted to do one as close to the movie as possible, so we have all the information we need. We've seen all the previews, we have all the interviews with directors and actors and things like that, so we have as much information as possible to do some correct speculation. And I think it's just fun to do so. And the contest is going to be about speculation. So I don't want to just talk about my speculation. I want to hear all yours too. So that's what most of the speculation videos out there are, just listening to one person talk about their theories. I don't want to do that. You guys listen to me talk too much, and I'll give in my 2 cents in there too, but I want to hear your side of it. I want to hear what you think, and I want to hear what information you have. The movie's coming out in a couple of days, I think 3 days, so there's not much time for this, but you know, enough time. I think most people will see this video within that time. So, I'll talk about the contest really quickly. Basically, this is something I've been talking about with my friends, things that we tried to guess. There's been a couple things. One, the Avengers 4 movie, which comes out next year, is still untitled. And for those of you who don't know, the reason it is untitled is because they've said the title of that movie is a spoiler to this movie. So we're all really curious about what that's going to be. So me and my friends have been talking about it, and we actually have a pool going to see who can guess the title. But the one that we've been talking about for a long time, and what the contest will be, is actually who is going to die in this movie, Avengers 3. So there's been a ton of speculation, and people have been assuming for a while that a lot of characters are going to get killed off in this movie, for multiple reasons. Just because, for reality reasons, basically all these characters' contracts, these actors, their contracts are up, so they're not signed on to do any more movies. So a lot of people assume that they're just going to kill off those characters, and just story-wise, there's characters that will probably die off too. So we've been trying to guess who's going to get killed off, and we have a pool going for that too. And essentially what the contest is going to be is you all can try and guess who's going to die in the movie. Now how that's going to work is we don't know who is. They may be no one, but we're assuming at least one, if not a couple characters will die off. We just don't know who. So how the contest is going to work is you have to guess who's going to die, and then whoever gets the most right wins a prize. So the prizes are here, and you can choose one of these 4 prizes. And I have a nice Spider-Man statue behind my beer, and then I have an Iron Man statue, a Wolverine Wacky Wobbler, and then in a Walgreens exclusive Punisher Funko Pop. So the winner gets to pick their prize. Now I want to do a separate contest for guessing the title of the 4th movie, and I still want to. I'm just not sure when they're going to announce it. It could be announced at the end of this movie, but they may not announce it for a few months out. I'm not sure. So that's the reason I didn't do an additional contest. I kind of wanted to do 2 in 1, but since I don't know when they're going to announce it, I don't want it to go on too long and have to keep track of it. So for now, we'll just do the characters. And how that's going to work is you can guess as many characters as you want. The winner will be a ratio, will be a percentage. So the number of characters you guess versus the number of characters you guess right. So if you guess 10 characters, you put 10 characters on your list, but you only get 1 right, you're at a 10%. So you could guess every character in the cinematic universe if you wanted to, but you're probably going to lose because your percentage is going to be very low. But if you only guess 1 character and you get it right, you're at 100%. So you would be at the lead of that. But if someone guesses 2 characters and gets them both right, they're at 100%, but they have more guesses. So that's how it's going to work. Your percentage, and then factored in will be the number of guesses you had. So the higher percentage, and also the number of guesses. So it's good to guess a good amount so you have a better chance of winning, but you know, don't guess too many because that could affect your percentages. So that's where it gets kind of interesting. Not just doing your best guess, but also kind of factoring in some statistics there. So the first prize winner, whoever gets the best percentage, will get to pick one of these prizes. And if a lot of people enter, I may actually do 2, 3, or maybe even all 4 of them, depending on how many people enter the contest. So I'll pick a certain number of people, and if it exceeds that, then we'll do a 2nd place winner, 3rd place, 4th place, and so on. So feel free to enter, and how you enter is right here in the comments to the video. So put your guesses and then just comment on it below. And then the contest will close on Thursday. I'm going to say on noon, 12 p.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time, so that'll be 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm pretty sure that'll be a good closing time before it gets released anywhere. And I'm not sure when exactly it gets released in Europe, but don't cheat. If you've seen the movie and you happen to be one of the few people that got a advanced screening, don't cheat. Be fair to everyone. So yeah, that's the contest. Whoever guesses the most gets to pick a prize. So feel free to enter. Other than that, yeah, like I said about the title of the next movie, the other thing I wanted to speculate about is where this direction is going to go. They've said in a lot of interviews that this is going to be a turning point for the MCU, that the whole MCU is going to head in a different direction, but nobody knows what that means. They said it's going to head in a very unexpected direction, but again, these very vague, ambiguous statements just leave room for speculation. Nobody knows what that means, but we're here to guess. So when you're entering the contest, feel free to enter the other parts of it, the next title of the movie, and then where you think it's headed. And maybe if announce it fairly soon, maybe I'll have that as another part of the contest. Maybe that'll be the 2nd prize. We'll just see. So feel free to throw it out there and throw out your guesses. So as far as the movie goes, from what I hear, it's very intense. So I actually know someone that went to the world premiere that was tonight, that happened a few hours ago, and that person said the movie's very intense, and that kind of seems that way. The first 2 Avengers were still had a pretty lighthearted theme to it. They had a lot of jokes to it. I have a feeling that this movie won't have a lot of that. It's going to be more on the serious end. And there's going to be a lot packed into it because there's so many characters, and the movie is long, but it's not that long, so there's going to be a lot of content in there. And we know at least a few people are going to die, and to be honest, I'm going to be really sad about it. Since they did Civil War, everyone was expecting Captain America to die because he did in the comic books. That's how that Civil War ended. Captain America died. So everyone was expecting him to, I was expecting him to, but it didn't happen. So I was kind of disappointed about that at first, because I wanted that to play out that way. But now I'm kind of glad because now he's in Avengers 3 and possibly Avengers 4. So now that I've thought about it that way, I've been thinking, and I'm actually going to be really sad if any characters die off. I know all their contracts are ending, but I'm kind of hoping that they actually don't kill off any of the main characters. And the reason for that is, I know their contracts are ending, so they're not going to continue to do any movies for like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. They're not going to do any individual movies, but there's still the opportunity for cameos. And I hope that they can do that and maybe one day return. But if they kill off the character, then there's no possibility of that. They can't ever return into a movie. They can't ever have a cameo. They can't ever have another crossover with those characters. So we're expecting people to die, but I really hope they don't, because I'm going to be legitimately sad. Like if Iron Man or someone like that dies, to think that I'm never going to see that character again, like, bums me out. So, and my thought is that, I don't know if any of you followed the comics or some of the animated movies. They did an Avengers movie that was in the future, where it was like older versions of the Avengers, where it was Tony Stark and Hulk, but they were a lot older. They were like old men. And I hope that maybe one day down the line they can do a movie like that. Just like they did with the movie Logan with Wolverine. It was an older version of himself. So I hope that maybe like a decade from now, when those actors aren't getting as paid as much, that maybe they can do another movie like that. So I really hope that that's something in the future. But again, if they kill him off, they can't do something like that. So I'm going to be pretty bummed to see who dies. And the only person that I have a really speculation of dying is, I think his name's pronounced Heimdall. He's from Thor. He's the black guy from Thor, and the only reason I thought that was because of the toys. They showed the Lego toys, and Thor was holding Heimdall's sword, so that's the only reason I thought that he might get killed off. So maybe they kill off some minor characters. The other thing I think that might happen is that we still haven't seen the Soul Stone in the MCU, but everyone's pretty sure it's in Wakanda, that maybe they are going to kill off like a lot of the main characters, if not all of them, and then possibly bring them back with the Soul Stone. So that's a possibility. That's what it did in the comic books. That's what it did in Marvel vs. Capcom. The Soul Stone brought back a character to life. So that was pretty cool that it did that. So that's what I'm thinking, that maybe number 3, they'll kill off a bunch of characters, make everyone all sad, and then maybe bring them back in the 4th one. That's a possibility. I think that's definitely plausible. So maybe that's something that happens. And we saw in Avengers 2 that Tony Stark had that like kind of foresight dream thing where he saw all the Avengers dead. So maybe that is actually going to happen, because he kind of looked into the future. So maybe we will see that, but I'm not sure. So other than that, I don't have too many other guesses past that. But we do know, again, about the title. The title of number 4 is going to be a spoiler for this one. The only guess I had for the title of Avengers 4 was something along the lines of like the death of the Avengers or the fall of the Avengers. That was my guess. That's what I guessed, and I don't really have a better guess than that. But I'd like to hear your guys' guess. I'd like to hear everyone's guesses here, because I'm sure some people have some really interesting assumptions, so I'd really like to hear that. But there's going to be a lot of spoilers, because the Russo brothers, who directed this movie, put out a letter to just the community asking people, you can look this up online, asking the fans not to spoil the movie for other people. So even when people see the movie, they sent out a letter to everyone saying, please don't spoil the movie for people that do see it, like people like me who are going to see it Thursday night. Don't spoil it for the people that are going to see it Friday night. So that's never been done before, and that's got to mean that something big is going to happen. So that's where they were saying it's going to take the MCU in a new direction. Something major is definitely going to happen, something we're not expecting, and that's the last thing we can speculate on and throw out some random guesses. My only guesses to that is that we're going to see some characters that we're not expecting. Now, my friend was telling me, he read some articles online, that the Fantastic Four are appearing in this movie, and that some people have said maybe even some X-Men characters are appearing in this movie, and I'm not sure if I believe that. Not because I don't believe my friend, he wouldn't make up a lie or anything, but I think that seems just like someone just trolling other people. I don't think that's possible, and I'll explain why. So everyone knows recently Marvel bought out Fox, so everyone knows that they get those characters back, but that actually hasn't happened yet. That process hasn't finished, so that's not a final deal yet. And a lot of people don't realize this. That process takes about 18 months to go through. So that happened, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, so we have another like 15 months left before that deal finalizes. And the reason it takes so long is because of the monopoly laws in the USA. And essentially what that means is that they can't, it's illegal for one company to control all aspects of any division of business. And that's exactly why Marvel didn't actually buy out all of Fox. They only brought out their production side. Fox is not going away. What they'll still have is Fox News. So that's the only reason they can make this deal happen, is that they didn't buy Fox News, because Disney has their own news things and that would create a monopoly. So that's the reason they can't buy out Fox completely. It's just the production side. So they will get those characters back eventually, but not for another 18 months or from when the purchase date was. The reason I bring that up is because technically that means X-Men and Fantastic Four could not be in this movie. One, because I don't know if they would have had enough time from when that deal went on to when the movie came out to put them in there, even if they knew beforehand. Also, it technically would be illegal for them to do, because since the deal hasn't gone through, those characters are still technically owned by Fox, and Marvel couldn't put them in their movie without some sort of deal going on. So it would be illegal for them to just put them in without a Fox agreeing to it. So it is possible that they maybe had a deal agreed upon years ago that they were okay putting them in, but I'd find that hard to believe, because Fox was previously kind of a dick about giving characters back to Marvel. They were really stubborn about it, and I think that's part of the reason why they bought out the company. So I find it hard to believe that they had a contract already written up when they were making Avengers, on top of the fact that even if they didn't, that Marvel couldn't just put them in because Fox owns the production rights to them. And it's not the same as, for example, like Marvel vs. Capcom, games like that, didn't put X-Men characters in, but they were allowed to, that Marvel and Disney just didn't want to because they didn't want to promote other companies. They were still allowed to, though. Same with like toys, action figures, comics. You'll notice a lot of the X-Men stuff hasn't been going on a lot. It's because, not because Disney can't, they're allowed to, they just didn't want to. Whereas the movie rights, they actually can't, because that's what Fox owns, the production rights to those characters. So that was a good guess from my friend, and you know, it might still come to fruition. We might see something like that, but I just find it hard to believe for those reasons I listed. But don't get me wrong, I would love to see some Fantastic Four characters or some X-Men characters in there. I think that would be absolutely fantastic, but I just don't see that being a possibility. It seems pretty far-fetched for that to happen. But that's still the best guess I've heard for a new direction it's headed in, for spoilers, things like that. Other than that, I can't really imagine anything too huge that's a spoiler other than specific people dying. So your guess is as good as mine, but the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige and people like that have said they're taking it in a new direction, the whole MCU, and some people have speculated that's going to get much more cosmic, it's going to go into outer space. Some people have said that it's going to be like alternate realities type of thing, that when the reality stone shows up on Earth, it's going to alter reality, and maybe there's going to be multiple, like a whole multiverse thing where there's going to be different realities and different timelines like that go in line with each other, but that's a lot of speculation too. So other than that, the rest is just a bunch of guessing. That's my guesses of what I think might happen, the best guesses that I have out there, but I'd still like to hear your thoughts on it. So please feel free to enter the contest, who you think's going to die, what new characters you think we're going to see, what the title of Avengers 4 is going to be, what direction the movie's going to be headed in, and, you know, if you have any actual spoilers, please don't put it in the comments. This is all speculation. If you have actual answers, you don't need to put it in and ruin it for everyone, not that anyone would, but this is all speculation, and let's just get it going. Let's start a discussion topic, and for the next few days until Avengers comes out, we'll talk about it in the comments. So, that's it. Short video, enter the contest, I'll announce a winner on a separate video, and I'll figure it out. And then maybe there will be multiple contests, multiple winners. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Until then, let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you all for watching and supporting. Love you all. Peace.